Eldenwood was a village steeped in whispers. Ancient tales and forgotten magic lingered in the air. At its heart lay a garden, once vibrant, now consumed by thorns and silence. The villagers spoke of it in hushed tones. The Garden of Forgotten Promises, they called it. It was a place of sorrow, they said, a place where love had turned to dust. Despite the warnings, the garden drew Clara in. Its melancholy resonated with her artistic soul. It was a canvas of faded beauty, a story waiting to be told. She felt an inexplicable pull towards its mysteries, a sense of longing she couldn't ignore. Clara had always been drawn to the forgotten and forlorn. Her paintings breathed life into neglected corners, her brushstrokes capturing the beauty hidden beneath layers of dust and time. The garden, with its tangled vines and whispering leaves, was a subject that both terrified and captivated her. She set up her easel near the rusted gate, her heart pounding with a mixture of apprehension and excitement. The air hung heavy with the scent of decaying leaves and damp earth. Yet through the desolation, Clara sensed a glimmer of something else, a faint echo of joy, a whisper of hope. He found her there, amidst the overgrown roses and forgotten fountains. Elias. His eyes, the colour of the forest after the rain, held a depth that startled Clara. He moved with an ethereal grace, his touch gentle as he helped her gather her scattered brushes. He spoke little, but his silence was a comfortable one. He seemed to understand her fascination with the garden, her need to unravel its secrets. In his presence, the fear that had clung to Clara began to dissipate, replaced by a strange sense of familiarity. As days turned into weeks, Clara found herself drawn back to the garden, drawn to Elias. He shared stories of the garden's past, his voice a low murmur that seemed to weave itself into the rustling leaves. He spoke of laughter echoing through the rose arbours, of lovers' promises whispered beneath the moonlight. With each word, the garden seemed to stir, as if awakening from a long sleep. The thorns seemed less menacing, the silence less oppressive. Clara's paintings began to reflect this subtle transformation, her colours growing brighter, her strokes bolder. One day, lost in her work, Clara absent-mindedly brushed a stray vine away from her canvas. As she did, a spark of light ignited, dancing between her fingers and the plant. She gasped, startled, but Elias simply smiled, his eyes filled with a knowing light. "The garden remembers," he whispered, his voice tinged with an emotion Clara couldn't quite place. "It remembers the touch of love, the promise of renewal." He took her hand, his touch sending a shiver down her spine. "And it remembers you, Clara." Section 6. The Promise Unveiled. Clara's mind reeled as Elias revealed the truth. The garden, he explained, was bound to a promise, a love story tragically cut short. He, Elias, was its keeper, bound to the garden until the promise was fulfilled, until love bloomed again within its walls. And Clara, he said, was the key. He spoke of a past life, a love that transcended time, a promise made beneath the very tree they stood under. He spoke of a woman with eyes like the summer sky and a laugh that could chase away the darkest shadows. He spoke of Clara. Section 7. A love rekindled. The revelation shook Clara to her core. She had always felt a connection to the garden, to Elias, but this was beyond anything she could have imagined. As she looked into his eyes, she saw the echoes of that past life, felt the pull of a love that defied explanation. And in that moment, surrounded by the fading beauty of the garden, she knew it was true. She remembered. The love, the promise. It all came flooding back, as familiar as her own heartbeat. Section 8. A Garden Reborn. With a love rekindled and a promise fulfilled, the garden began to heal. Thorns receded, replaced by blossoming roses. The fountains, silent for decades, erupted in joyous sprays of water. Laughter echoed once more through the once-forgotten paths. Clara, her heart overflowing with a love that spanned lifetimes, poured her joy into her art. Her paintings, once tinged with melancholy, now burst with vibrant life, capturing the garden's rebirth in all its glory. Section 9. Epilogue: A New Beginning. Elias was gone. He had faded with the morning mist, his purpose fulfilled, his promise kept. Yet Clara knew he was still there, a part of the garden, a part of her heart. She stayed in Eldenwood, her life forever intertwined with the magical garden. She became its caretaker, its storyteller. Her art a testament to the enduring power of love and the beauty found in forgotten promises. And somewhere, in the rustling leaves and the fragrant blossoms, Clara could still hear Elias's whisper, a promise of a love that would last for eternity.